Today we're turning this worn out hoodie into a Wasteland hoodie, like this. I'm gonna mark where my elbow is and where my bicep is. Now this here is my metal block, basically an anvil, and this is my small hammer, and I'm gonna use this to cut this off. See, beautiful. Now I'm also going to use the hammer to introduce a couple more holes. Rather than cutting, I'm going to be using the other side to just... Even slight taps with the hammer have that effect that once I go and apply some ripping to it with my ripping tools, as you see, where I've tapped it with the hammer, the holes are already forming much faster and easier. And usually what I'm going to do is tap a couple more times, or actually a lot more times, along the edges. Closer to the edge, and I will apply a lot more ripping closer to the edge, while further away from the edge it's just a couple of shots. You don't have to use the hammer technique, you can just do ripping, but I find it very useful. Just applying it to the rest of the hoodie, this is the most fun process, just bashing things with a hammer. So now I get to the part where I get to use the dense shoe brush. If you don't know the dense shoe brush, I have a tutorial on my channel discussing it in detail. A little great tool. And you see again here I'm applying a disproportionate amount of strokes to the very edge. And this process goes on and on and on. Like this took me like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes for the whole hoodie. A hoodie has a lot of fabric, as it turns out. In this step I've mixed up some diluted fabric paint. And while it looks cool at first, the hoodie fabric just sucks it all in. And yeah, the result was not as good as I wanted it to be. It was very subtle. So I'm just applying layers and layers and layers of paint. I emphasize the parts of the hoodie where, you know, the edges, the sleeves, the hood. I'm also applying a bit of black to simulate some grease and grime and other stuff. And now I'm applying this mixture of mostly yellow with a bit of red and a bit of gray, which looks like the sandish or muddy tone to it. So it ended up looking like this, which might or might not be enough for you, but I found it to be way too subtle. I wanted a result that is much more intense. So I'm taking the big crate, dumping almost undiluted or just undiluted fabric paint into it, and just wipe it off with the hoodie. Now, important thing is to not get scared at first, like in these moments right now, where it looks like just paint smeared onto the hoodie. If you just keep moving it around, the paint kind of dissipates and soaks in. Again, this hoodie fabric typically soaks in such an enormous amount of paint. And also because this particular one, it's dark blue, which is very hard to work with, so I'm applying a lot of white and also a lot of sand color or mud color and just a bit of black. So now that I'm finally happy, after like chucking about like half a tube of my white paint into it, now that I'm finally happy, I'm applying stencils. I have a whole tutorial on my channel about stencils, check that out in detail, but the most important parts, apply multiple thin layers, do not let it seep in beyond the borders. and also dab from above. Do not swipe side to side, or you will just swipe away the foil, and that's bad. I'm also applying a hairdryer in between the layers, just enough so that the paint can resist the next layer of paint, so that the next layer of paint sticks on top of it instead of again seeping into the fabric. This is especially important the runnier your paint is and the suckier your fabric is. As the last step, I'm applying some of the sand tone and some black to the freshly made stencils, because otherwise they look, well, completely freshly made, and I don't want that. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. If you liked it, then like, subscribe, support me on Patreon. The link is in the video description, and so is the link to my community page on Facebook. See ya!